That's cool. That's neat. That was a cool ending, to be fair. Expected, but and I totally called it, but I'll take it. And it's probably just going to be the same credits, probably, except from the Wavelengths actors, and probably the only real additions will be Mikey and those voiceovers from Rachel and Chloe back there. I mean, it's they're huge. I ain't gonna lie, they're pretty huge. You know, that this game actually makes a callback to the first game, even when Deck 9 didn't really work on it. That was pretty neat. I don't know. Overall, though, it feels a bit meh, really. And I think that's the point. I'm a little disappointed that we really didn't get to go outside the record store and explore. That would probably be the only thing. But I think it feels meh in that regard, that you really didn't get to explore everywhere. But we did enough of that in True Colors. We must have done it like 5 times over in each episode, so it's not a big deal. I probably would have liked that, to do that more, but the whole point of it is Steph's year in the record store. You know, she's been working there. I mean, the Alex thing was awesome, seeing her at the end there. Steph's singing voice is very different too. I didn't even recognize it was Steph. Her singing voice is totally different to her talking voice. That's awesome. But yeah, one thing I will say is that this DLC really did flesh Steph out. You know, you really saw a more side of her, and you finally see someone from Arcadia Bay who actually was a part of it and witnessed the events going on. And Steph and Mikey have been trying so hard not to get over it because it was so difficult, but you know, they need each other because they both suffered because they were there. Steph suffered more so because of, like, she was mentioning about how perfect Chloe and Rachel were, and the reason she thinks that is because the jealousy she feels is pretty much exactly what Chloe felt in that scene smashing the camera up. It's exactly the same. It's not an ill-fated jealousy, you know? Yeah, Rihanna DeVires and Kylie Brown, yep. Yep. I would have preferred Ashley Birch, but I can understand why it's Rihanna as Chloe, because, you know, Rihanna's Deck 9's person that they found for her. So I think that makes sense. It's a little disappointing. You know, I would have preferred Ashley, but really Chloe didn't get a lot of lines anyway, so it's not like you'd be missing her like big time. I'm not, like I said, Rihanna DeVires did such a good job with Chloe Before the Storm. That's one thing that Before the Storm got right. Rihanna DeVires did a great job. But yeah, that was wild. The Arcadia Bay references aren't as big as I thought. I got really excited over very little there. But what they didn't do a lot on it, but what they did actually told you a story from someone who wasn't in the first game, and you saw the perspective of what happened from Steph's, like, outpouring a little bit. She was obviously somewhere at the time. I'm not sure if she was in the same school at the time. I don't know where she was, but obviously she would know about it because of their relationship, her and Mikey's relationship to Chloe and Rachel, you know. And whereas Mikey and Chloe weren't the best of friends, like he said, it makes sense. I'm very intrigued to go back now and play that episode again, just to see what sacrificing Arcadia Bay might have done. I'll probably see it. I don't think they'll change a lot. I mean, it depends if Steph and Mikey were there, and you could probably guess that they weren't. Because obviously you can pick that you don't sacrifice Arcadia Bay and they're still there. So whatever happened, either way of what happened, I don't think Steph and Mikey were there. I think they were notified of it somehow. They probably would have heard it on the news, to be fair, because obviously the revelation about Rachel, the death of Chloe, or the destruction of Arcadia Bay, and obviously if you save Arcadia Bay, the revelations about Jefferson and Nathan, they would have been heard on the news. But it feels to me like Steph was there, because the whole part of that episode, the whole part of that chapter, was Steph and how she has really been hit hard by the events of what happened. So she must have been there firsthand. That's the only thing I can think of. And she's obviously, like she said, she's been carrying the guilt about Chloe and Rachel for so long, because she was crushing on Rachel before all that happened. And Mikey really reinforces what Chloe and Rachel went through, in the fact that they both felt they saved each other's lives. Because Chloe feels that way, and obviously, with Full the Storm story, Rachel had that. Rachel feels that way because Chloe literally did, and Mikey's right. She would have done anything to save her, and like the whole tracking her down for 6 months, almost non-stop. When her parents, or Rachel's parents, I mean, or whoever she was with at the time, depending probably on your story or whatever, but basically her family, I guess, for lack of a better word. The police, all the investigations, all that, they all eventually gave up hope. Chloe never did. So Mikey's right. She would have done anything to do that. And Steph obviously was under that impression of how perfect they were, because that's all she saw. She obviously didn't hear about Rachel going on to do what she did. And like I said, I think the whole Jefferson thing was not consensual. It obviously wasn't. Obviously not. I mean, I wonder, yeah. Everything around the choice is how Steph is coping with it. And she's, around that time of year, she doesn't do so well. And it makes sense. This DLC was not a lot, I will agree. It is really meh overall, but I think what it really does really well is really flesh out Steph as a character. You learn a lot about her and how she's dealing with the loss of Rachel and Chloe in particular, because the three of them have probably become really good friends. Chloe and Steph have that link together where they're part of the LGBT community. So obviously there's that. So yeah, you really see a side to Steph that no one has ever seen. And Alex's arrival, and how she latched onto Alex so well. is going to help her in future years. Speaking like it's real life, but she never showed Alex that song, and that's disappointing, really. That's weird though, because this DLC was done alongside the game, pretty much. So why didn't we see a version of that in the main story? That's something Alex would have loved to hear, I think. But that ending was cool. How Alex turns up. That was pretty neat. But yeah, this was a Steph character building DLC. This was nothing really too big or expansive or exploratory. It's not. But again, I kind of see what they were doing. They were fleshing out Steph's character so well, and they did a great job. It seems like a bit of a cash grab when you think about it, because they're bringing in Steph and making her popular, but what they did in the main story vindicated it. Again, it's like with Steph, even though she was in the previous game, they didn't do a lot like the Before the Storm. We didn't really get a lot of her, and it allowed it to come into this. So where is the fact that you're not really exploring or outside the record store at all, and you don't have that exploratory sense? The character fleshing out of Steph is well done, I will say that. But overall, it's a bit meh. Did this really need to come out? Yes and no. Yes and no. No, because there wasn't really a lot to do, but yes, because it fleshes out Steph's character ever so well. It tells her of the impact that she had in the Arcadia Bay incident, whether you sacrificed it or not. And I'm very intrigued to go back and do that, actually. I might just do it in this final video that I put up. I might not do a whole video on it, because I don't think it's going to take too long, because it's literally going to be like a couple of minutes tops. So I might just add it to this final video at the end of the credits. But this really felt to me like a Steph Gingrich bonding session, and really seeing her completely fleshed out now. So I understand why they did a DLC to do that, because they didn't want it to interfere with Alex's story, because she was the big centerpiece in the entire game. So I understand it. I get it. I get what they were doing. It wasn't... I was going to say it wasn't necessary, but I don't think that's actually true. I think it was necessary to really give Steph that fleshing out. So a bit meh in the gameplay department, but at the end of the day, it gives you something to do whilst having the very important fleshing out of Steph Gingrich. It gave us something to do whilst we were experiencing that. But that's the real purpose of this DLC. It's like what Deck 9 were trying to do Before the Storm, bringing Rachel and fleshing her out somewhat, because most of the creative freedom was not available. So it feels like that. It feels like a Before the Storm mini episode. Really. It's different to Farewell, because Farewell, didn't really need to flesh out Max and Chloe so much. That had already been done. Farewell was like the final goodbye to Max and Chloe as a whole in the series, no matter what way you went in the final decision of the first game, whether you sacrifice Arcadia Bay or not. That was the last time we'll see them. That was a goodbye to Max and Chloe. I don't think this is a goodbye for Steph. I think Steph has got so popular now that... But can they do any more? I don't know. I'd like them to do so, but I don't know if they will. I think if Deck 9 want to keep on this trajectory with Life is Strange, they have to keep expanding. You know, they can't just do what they did before the storm and base it on another story, because that takes away a lot of the creative freedom that was so good in True Colors. True Colors is creative freedom. I said it in the credits, so good. And I think Deck 9 are at their best when they have that freedom. This game gave them that freedom to do it. And flesh out Steph's character and give her the aftermath of Arcadia Bay, no matter what you pick. So I'm probably going to go do that. I'm going to pick not sacrificing Arcadia Bay, and I'm going to just see how it differs. And that's all I'm going to do. So I'm probably going to end the credits just cut to that episode, because I'm going to have to start it again, because you obviously have to do that. Unless you can pick the chapters. But then it might be based on what we picked at the beginning. I still can't believe I even fucking did that. I was so excited and overcome with excitement and just like, oh my god, this is actually happening, that I picked the wrong damn option. That was bad of me. But yeah. It's meh. But it's also... The DLC as a whole in gameplay is really meh. There's not really an interesting staying point to this, but it's more about the people you talk to. And the appearance of Mikey and the voiceovers of Chloe and Rachel and the fleshing out that Steph has. This is a people DLC. This isn't a gameplay DLC. This is a people DLC. It's made to flesh people out, to give you more people that you're talking to, and to listen to the personalities that called in, wanting Steph to give them advice. I see that. So I see what they were doing. It's not the best DLC in the world. It's in gameplay department. It's not. But if you're a real Steph Grungert fan, this does a great job of fleshing her out and seeing the effect Arcadia Bay had on her. Either way, if you say it sacrificed it or not. I like that. I really like what they did with that. Because Steph, like I said at the end of my main game playthrough, she went so far up in my estimation where her and Alex now are ahead of Kate Marsh. So, and Alex being with her was the best thing I did. Now that we know that Steph feels that she feels like we said, she feels that she's broken and stuff, and that's understandable. You know, and she really has, this really added a layer to Steph's character that really makes her being with Alex make sense, because she latched onto Alex from the first second and she couldn't help it. You know, from the moment she laid eyes on her, it was like, wow. and because she didn't want to mess it up, she was so cautious and so careful with, you know, and that lays into what we were talking to with Mikey. You know, she feels broke and just of everything that went on. It's the long lasting effects of Arcadia Bay, and it was wonderfully done, even if it was for only like a minute. You know, in that 1 minute you got so much of Steph's character that we'd never even known before. That was probably the best minute of the entire DLC. It really was. It was the best minute or two of the entire DLC, because we got a whole side to Steph and a layer to Steph that we didn't even know she had. Because she did such a good job of hiding it. Is that the right way to put it? No, not a good job of hiding it. You know what I mean? Like, if I say that, but then again, it only came up maybe once a year, you know, because of the timing. So that was the best part of this entire DLC, just seeing that character to her and seeing it fleshed out and explored. I love that part. It made me actually feel emotional and immensely sorry for her. And now I'm just so glad I gave her Alex, you know, because now she has someone to, apart from Mikey, to share it with. You know, and even Alex's own hardship, you know, Alex's own hardship. These two were made for each other. Seriously, they were. It makes me so happy that I put them together like that. They both needed each other, pretty much the same as Max and Chloe. It really was. It was like the way Max and Chloe needed each other, and how you saw that in Farewell. You saw that in this DLC through Steph's own perspective. You know, Alex wasn't there, but when you put their hardships together in both their stories, you see how much they needed each other, and how they were so positive on each other. And it doesn't take the pain away, but you know, at least they're not alone anymore. And Alex is a little different because she was always alone, whereas Steph kind of wasn't, even though she probably felt that sometimes because only Mikey talked to her. And obviously Mikey's probably all she had, because in the end, Chloe and Rachel, they died. And even if you sacrifice Arcadia Bay, Chloe goes, I guess, off the grid to just be with Max, which makes sense. What I'm probably going to have to do is... Oh no, wait, we can open chat. Oh, okay. Alright, but I'm going to have to start it again to see this, to see the memories of Arcadia Bay destroyed. So I'm gonna have to play it again to do that. So yeah, I'll go do that and I'll be right back. I'll add it to the end of this video and then we'll round it off there. Unity for the annual Arcadia Bay Candlelit Vigil. One of those we lost in the tragic storm of 2013. We stand together in our ongoing effort to heal, rebuild, and remember. Wow. I mean, from what David said in Life is Strange 2, literally everyone that was there was lost. So I think going with that, now you think about it, going with that statement,
let's see what I have
Steph and Mikey couldn't.
Oh, good. All of it.
Right, so let's see what the other references are, because obviously every time you did something, it showed police sirens and a voiceover of some kind from a police officer, I think. They were probably talking to Steph somehow. Storm rages. Whoa. That doesn't sound good. She obviously knows about it. Sounds like she might have lost someone in it. Did we do the CD? Yeah, we did. Oh yeah, we got to go over here. Oh my god. Wow.
Come on, Gingrich.
Wow, dude. They're all subtle, but the changes are there. I mean, that was blatantly obvious. Alright, I think this one was another one. What's this gonna point?
I am so not having this right now.
Was she there, or was she talking to someone who was?
Last chore. Just get it done.
What's that? Oh yeah, it was over here. I remember. Good lord. That's actually more eerie than saving Arcadia Bay. I think because here we're actually...
Mom? The whole town is rubble! It'll hit our house soon! I'm taking shelter, but I love you, okay? Mom! Mom!
Wow. Oh my god.
It's just like any other day. Just like any...
You ever talk to Chloe?
No, I hear she's off the radar like me.
Yeah?
The two wandering weirdos.
Huh.
Look, Steph.
Fuck! Water seeping in.
Roll for perception.
This storm is biblical. Why hasn't Drew called back yet?
What?
Anything from your mom?
She'll be fine. My house is safe. You know what isn't, though? Your
Right,
position.
so they were away, they were out of it.
You're surrounded by enchanted skeletons, and your HP is
It
fucked.
looks like Drew didn't make it either.
Now roll.
Oh my god.
How do you deal with the thoughts that won't go away?
What do you mean?
You know, about Drew.
Oh my god.
At the
so
end?
Drew and her mom was still there.
Oh, like picturing my brother being crushed to death by cinder blocks. Wondering if it hurt, if he had any last thoughts. I guess I just accept him now. It's like a song that gets stuck in your head. It's there whether you like it or not, so might as well sing along.
I've watched my mom die 1,000 times in my mind, running into the basement, grabbing her rosary beads, screaming in fear. It's always a little different each time.
Holy fuck.
The differences are the fucking worst. But maybe talking about it helps.
Oh my lord, dude. This is
Yeah, maybe.
this is so fucking rough.
You know, I need you because I'm not strong enough to be my real self without you in my life.
He's come such a long fucking way.
That's it.
Really.
It's pretty fucking dumb of me.
He's come such a long way from that Dorkin before the storm. Oh my god, dude.
Mikey,
Even Mikey
I'm
for
so
like this
sorry.
small amount of time is
I know you are.
another layer of character.
it's not just you. If it makes you feel any better. I do this shit to everyone.
Except
It
for
doesn't.
Alex.
But
Apart from that
continue.
little bit. Wow. I know I said I almost regretted my decision in The Life is Strange 2 after seeing the price seal photo, but I said I almost did. And things like that are why. I would never want. The long and short of it is, I never wanted Max to live through that. Because the trauma she would have suffered and the guilt she would have felt would have probably been too much for her, to the point where even Chloe couldn't rescue her, you know. I just think Max as a person wouldn't do that. But the problem is, she has to lose the love of her life in the process. I don't regret it. I don't. As much as those two deserved happiness in life, I don't find myself regretting anything. Wow. It reinforces my anger though, because every time something like this comes up, I'm always reminded that the whole scenario was bullshit. Because the one thing you notice in episode 5 is that at the first game is that even though Chloe is shot and killed by Jefferson, the storm still happens. It still happens. Max still walks out there and it's still building up outside, ready to take the whole town out. You can't tell me that Chloe is so important that she has to die or the town gets wiped out. You just can't tell me that. I'm not speaking as a prize field chipper. I'm speaking as someone that just thinks about it. If the storm still happened when Chloe was shot by Jefferson a day before it was supposed to arrive, well, I think it was hours, but still, if she died by Jefferson or by anybody, why did the storm happen? Surely it was always going to happen no matter what. And you can't tell me otherwise, because otherwise it just doesn't make any fucking sense. There had to have been a better way. I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, I'm fucking speechless. I'm numb, dude. So I think we're gonna leave it there. That was rough. And the DLC, like I said in the credits, was it was a nice DLC and added layers to Steph and Mikey in particular, but I think that was the best thing about it, to be honest. Like I said, I can see what they're doing. Like I said, I think this is a character-driven DLC to give you layers of Steph and Mikey in particular, and even reminisce about Chloe and Rachel with the voiceover. No absolute mention or sign of Max anywhere. I get it. It's funny because Clark's actually tweeted something like, "Do Deck 9 seriously hate Max?" And I'm thinking, well, that's the running joke I've had. But the story isn't about her. As much as I adore Max, it's not about her. Life is Strange 2 wasn't about her. Her story had finished. With either decision, her story was finished. Okay, maybe not finished if you want an aftermath of anything, but either way, right? She lost her power, so she wouldn't have. There's no real further story they could do there if she loses it. And most of his story is, or Max's story, or Max and Chloe's story, whatever decision you choose, most of it is open to interpretation at this point. I don't know what to say. I really don't. But that was rough. That was really rough. She lost her mom and she lost Drew. They never went away. I'm not surprised with Drew, to be fair, because Drew suffered that injury, didn't he? He suffered that injury before the storm from Damon. So, well, depending on your choices, but no, I think he got the injury no matter what, didn't he? No, I remember. The choice there was letting Mikey go for the door, and Damon attacked him instead. I think. So they weren't the only survivors of Arcadia Bay. They weren't there to be called survivors. Thing is, and here's the thing as well. Here's the thing that you really need to think about. Chloe and Max were at a safe zone, and the storm missed them. That was the escape. Now, obviously Max time jumped and everything, but I don't know, man. Either the storm didn't keep following them, like I said in the first game, but that was the fear. The price field photo in Life is Strange 2 told us that the storm wasn't haunting them, wasn't following them. But I don't know how Maxie even went on with her life. Maybe Chloe was a huge help in that, which rather reinforces how much those two need each other. Makes you think, doesn't it? Anyway, that's it for Life is Strange Wavelengths. I enjoyed it. I wish it had been more exploratory, but I can understand why it wasn't. And the layers they put on Steph and Mikey in both choices really adds to them. They did a great job. And even though Mikey's only there for like all of 2 minutes, they gave him such a bunch of layers to his character. Yeah. Alright. I'm gonna sign off until the next project, guys. You guys know what to do. Subscribe, like the video, comment, all that good stuff. And I will see you next time. I'm Simon Chaos, I'm signing off. Peace out, stay safe, and stay awesome.